Hey everybody, and welcome back to the internet. So I know what some of you are probably thinking. What, another Reddit narration channel? I've already seen like 15 of those this week. Yeah, but do those other channels bounce their logos around the screen? Anyways, today we're going to be reading some entitled people stories because, you know, parents aren't the only ones who can be entitled sometimes. So this first story is called, Entitled Teacher Thinks She Can Lower My Grade for Being Too Good. So some background info. I went to a French immersion school, so in Canada that's a school where French is the only language, but everyone speaks English or another language, mostly German, at home. From kindergarten to the middle of grade 7. In grade 7 I moved to another province, like a state but Canadian, and in our new town there was no French school, so my parents decided to homeschool me and my siblings, who also did French, to get our levels in English up, as we did not do much English in school. I've maintained my fluency in French over the years. I'm in grade 11 now, still homeschooled, by talking to all of my francophone friends. We do distance learning style homeschooling, so we report online to teachers in another city who gives us our grades. Most teachers are good, but some are not. This is the story of one who is not. In grade 10, when you start collecting high school credits, my mom convinced me to take French as my second language. I'd been taking Spanish, Latin, and Russian before, so it would be on my transcript. I agreed. I signed up for the course. The teacher, we'll call her Miss S, was an entitled jerk. I had her in grades 7 and 8 as my Spanish and Latin teacher, and she would not let me advance into the higher levels, even though I was doing really well. Both are closely related to French, so I found them easy to learn. I have a natural aptitude for language learning. Luckily, in grade 8 and 9, I got a tutor/teacher, and he taught me some Russian too, but that's a different story. New French students had to take a placement test to see which grade level I would be in, and the teacher would set it. I aced the entire test, scoring higher than the grade 12 level, and so reported to my teacher. She then accused me of cheating on the test and demanded I talk to her on Skype. I, not wanting to make things worse, complied. She went on and on about consequences of cheating. I responded in French and she was dumbfounded, because heaven forbid a 15-year-old boy speak French better than her. She apologized for accusing me, but still told me to take the test again, and for my mom to send her proof that I had not cheated. Lo and behold, I hadn't. Mrs. S emailed back saying that she didn't feel comfortable with me going to a higher level, and placed me in grade 11 French. 1 grade higher, but 2 lower than what I had placed. I finished all of the lessons within 2 months. Mrs. S was livid. She claimed that the lessons should have taken 300 hours to do. I had spent only 100 hours. I had to do them all again, twice. Along with the lessons, I had 1 spoken assignment, 1 written cultural assignment, and an exam. For my spoken assignment, I had to send in recordings of me speaking some passages, and she had the gall to ask if I got a real French speaker to do them for me. I had a cold and sore throat during our first Skype chat, so my voice was different. I denied, and she eventually stopped her claims after another Skype meeting. Held entirely in French, and not to judge, she had a pretty thick accent. For my culture assignment, I had to write an essay. I thought, since it was for French class, that I should write it in French. Mistake. I got a D, which for someone with usual A's and B's was a slap to my face. I sent it to my French-speaking friends and they said it looks good. Even showed it to their teacher. Apparently Mrs. S took points off for me using grammar and vocabulary that was, and I quote, too advanced for my level. My mom and I emailed her a polite, "What the crap?" and asked for my grade back. She said she would talk with the administration, and they told her to screw off and give me a proper grade. I got an A+. By the time of final exams, I was completely done with Mrs. S's crap, so when I handed it in a time she deemed too quick, I didn't care that she deduced points for handing in the exam with less than an hour. I had 3 hours to write it. And again for using grammar that was too advanced for me. She gave me a D on my final grade, my lowest ever. But I stopped caring. Though my mom did. She sent another what the heck email, and eventually my grade was raised to a B, which was low in my opinion, but still passing. I wish I could say she got her comeuppances, but alas, she's still a teacher and probably still an entitled jerk. I mean, why would you become a teacher if you're gonna get jealous of any students that actually do well? But on the other hand, it's like, if you already speak the language so well, why would you really care that much about what class you get into? That's the kind of thing where your school credentials don't really matter as much as just your actual skill, in my opinion. Because in the real world, nobody cares what grades you got. Oh man, So I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here for a sec, because I actually have a personal story of something that happened to me back in middle school. So in 7th grade I was in Algebra 1, and then in 8th grade they allowed us to choose between Algebra 2 and Geometry. Most people went into Geometry because that was the easier one, but I just decided to take Algebra 2, and then I went into Geometry in 9th grade. So basically it was a step back into like an easier type of math class. And so like, I had such an easy time in that geometry class, but it almost sort of turned into like a rivalry between me and the teacher though. We would run into times where he would make a mistake and I would like point out a little correction or something. And I wasn't like smug about it or anything, but it became pretty clear to the whole class that I was like one of the most advanced people in the class. And so it reached a point where the teacher would actually get really smug and excited anytime I would get anything wrong. Like, I remember one time he called on me for something, and I don't know, I gave an answer, and it wasn't right. And he's like, "See, even the smartest people don't know everything." Oh man, that whole year was just, it was pretty funny. But he was kind of a weirdo. Anyways, let's get on to the second story. Called, "My son is perfect for your girlfriend. You don't deserve someone like her." So backstory. This was after my visit to my company's contractor. I was on another business trip. I had to take my girlfriend and accountant to dinner, and we were on our way home. Later at around 11 p.m., me and my girlfriend went to our hotel room, and he went separately to his. I wanted to go to the hot springs outside. It has an incredible view at night over the ocean and is located between cliff sides, and my girlfriend said she'd come with. We both had not brought any bathing suits that were relaxing in the pool. And in jumps an entitled mother, an entitled kid, and the kid's nice father. It's a private area, so they shouldn't be here from the start. So my girlfriend says, "Wait, why is there people here?" I say, "I think it's best if you get changed now." She says, "Okay, got it." I stand with the towel around my waist, covering everything to my knees, and walk over to them. At this time, the kid was wandering around at the open showers. I say, "Sorry, but it seems like you came to the wrong area. I can show you the area if you let me see your number." The mom says, "No, it's okay. The public one's too full now, so we'll just have this half of the spring." I say, "Sorry, but I'm actually here with my girlfriend, and she doesn't feel comfortable with your son being here." So the entitled kid walks up to my girlfriend, saying, "Hey there." She says, "Hey? It must be pretty lonely here by yourself and your friend." She says, "Oh, that's my boyfriend, and we have plenty of company with each other, so don't worry about that. Are you lost?" And the kid says, "Oh no, I'm here to see you." She knows he's flirting. "Sorry, little guy, but this is a private area. I don't think you're allowed here." The kid says, "That is, if you don't let me." My girlfriend is literally laughing while holding the laughter back at his attempt. She walked towards me and the kid follows. I say, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, but I do give credit to the kid for trying." I say, "What?" She says, "Don't worry about it, I'll tell you later." So the entitled mom says, "Sorry, I think your time is up in this area." I say, "Don't worry, there's a bell." She says, "But anyway, you've hogged this area to yourself for long enough, so couldn't you just leave?" I say, "We want to use our time relaxing, so sorry, but I would like to enjoy some more alone time." She says, "But you've already been here for so long." "Well, I did book this area 2 nights ago." She says, "We're both really tired tonight, so can you just think a little about other people and leave?" At this point, I can't be bothered and just say to my girlfriend, "Let's go." And she said yes with the cutest pouch on her face. The entitled mom says, "No, she can stay." We're both like, "What?" The mom says, "You can go back, but she can stay with us." My girlfriend says, "Thanks, but I think I'll go too." Kid says, "Can you stay with me, please?" She says, "Sorry, but I have a boyfriend, little guy." I say, "Wait." The mom says, "What's the matter with you? Can't you see my son likes her more than you? Just go." I say, "Wait." She says, "My son likes her more, so can't you just get out already? She obviously doesn't like you anyway." My girlfriend says, "Sorry to disappoint, but we're getting married in 2 months." Kid says, "What? But you were gonna kiss me." She says, "When?" The mom says, "Why would such a lovely girl marry this selfish jerk?" I say, "I'm done talking with you. You're insane. Let's go." The mom says, "Don't you lay a finger on my son's girlfriend, and you," points to the girlfriend, "why would you ever consider such a man?" I say, "If you want to talk crap about me, go on, but stop bothering my bride, or else the only kiss your son's going to get is my fist." I stared right at her as she shut up and turned to her son and says, "Any other crap you want to say to her?" He backed off a little, and me and my girlfriend walked to the reception and told our story. They got dragged out by security, and I've never had an encounter with them since. Well, that's what I get for having such a cute girlfriend. Aww. A little word of advice to pretty much anybody. If you're attracted to somebody and you really like them, if they're already in a relationship, don't try to talk them out of it. It's kind of a jerk move to try and talk somebody out of their relationship just so that you can be with them, and it's most likely not going to work. And even if it does work, then that means they're pretty susceptible to that kind of thing, and they might just leave you for the next person. And on to the final story of today, called Neighbor Tried to Poison Our Dog Because He's Crying a Lot. So a little backstory, my dog is a very clever boy and extremely well raised. He followed every command, never barked at the other dogs, and was always very quiet. He also turned 15 recently, so he's quite old. Naturally, him being old brings some changes to his character and body. He doesn't see that well anymore. He has mild arthritis, had a stroke, and has turned completely deaf. On top of that, he developed a bad separation anxiety. Due to this anxiety, he cries and howls when we are gone for too long. The thought of having him put down has crossed our minds, but then we see him running around the garden and just enjoying life, so we've decided not to do that. So to the main part, like I said, he whines and cries and howls when we're gone for too long. Most of our neighbors don't mind, as they love and know my dog and understand the situation. One, however, doesn't. When it first started, my neighbor, the entitled parent, just rolls her eyes at us or made dumb comments like, "Train your dog better," and "He's interrupting my peace and quiet." Then she started saying things like, "You are bad owners for leaving him out so long," which already pissed me off. My dog is everything to me. It all got worse when she started spreading rumors about us, saying things like, "They are hurting their dog. They're leaving their dog alone all day," etc. All of our neighbors know us very well, and they didn't care what Entitled Parent was saying. Now, seeing that no one really listened to her, Entitled Parent went a step further. She actually contacted a local animal rights group, claiming that we neglect our dog and that they should take him from us. The group actually visited us and reviewed the situation. They left after not even half an hour, having found that he is in a loving family that looks after and cares for him. Of course, the group couldn't say who contacted them, but we knew it must have been Entitled Parent. After this plan had failed too, Entitled Parent started going after me. I'm the youngest one in the family, so she thought I was a great target. She kept telling me how much my dog suffers because of me and that we should put him down immediately. I mostly ignored her, but one day I snapped. The conversation went along like this. The Entitled Parent says, "Hey, your dog was whining again." I'm sorry. "You know, not only is he a nuisance to all of us, but he's also suffering because of you." "Well, he's just missing us." "No, he's suffering. Can't you see he can barely walk? Let alone play around anymore? You're putting him through unnecessary pain and suffering just because you were too selfish to let him go." This made me see red. Yes, I'm not ready to let him go yet, but as long as he's still active and enjoying life, he doesn't have to leave us. Admittedly, I then was very rude and told her to F off and leave us alone. What she did next, however, took the freaking cake. Around that time, we had a rat problem in our area, so some of our neighbors were leaving out some rat poison-filled food. I'm highly against it, so we left our live traps and freed them in the forest. Entitled Parent was one of those people using the poison. It started when I found a piece of the contaminated food in our garden. Thinking nothing of it, I threw it away. I thought maybe her rats had carried it there. This happened a few times, but each time we just threw it away. It was no big deal, since our dog would never eat anything without us allowing him to do it anyway. He's became very picky and practically only eats when he's hand-fed. Still, we were kind of annoyed by it. After a while, we became suspicious. Entitled Parent has completely stopped her tries of getting us to put down our dog. And now there was poison in our food in our garden? Can it be a coincidence? Surely there can't be that many rats around, right? So I decided to find out what was behind that. As I'm just having a break from work, I stay up practically all night. When I go to bed, my retired dad just gets up. So there's always someone awake at home. Me and my dad then decide to watch our garden for 24 hours straight. And then, at 22:32, I saw Entitled Parent leave her house and go to the garden. I immediately took out our phone and filmed her. Lo and behold, she threw something in our garden that later turned out to be the poison-filled food we had always found in our garden. This jerk is trying to kill a part of my family just because sometimes he cries and howls. The realization hit me so hard that I just started crying and shouting for my parents. At that point, we called the police with the video, our statements, and the statements of our neighbors. They believed us immediately and asked us if we wanted to press charges. And you're right, we did. Man, what a crappy neighbor. Well, as we can all see, it's not just the parents that can be entitled, but just about anybody. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you want to hear more, then go ahead and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.